All right, let's move on, Kim, to a little talk about the return. And this is also sort of an Alex Eala topic as well, or a Eala-inspired topic, because I think it was her first round match in Canada, where she's playing Alicia Parks and like half volleying returns. I mean, Parks has one of the best serves on tour. And it made me curious because you also, we were sort of comparing and contrasting some of the different return styles on tour. And I wanted to know how much of a good return is anticipation, how much of it is reading the ball toss, how much of it is knowing your opponent's tendencies, or just like seeing the ball off their strings. What are the different factors that go into a good return?
Well, to me, I think it starts with the mindset of being aggressive, right? Like I think with Eala, and I think I had to learn over time, is to play each shot and finish that shot and then move on and thinking about the next one. Like I think if I just think back to how I was in certain times during my career, or where I got a little bit nervous, or if I wasn't confident, I would retrieve. Like I would start close to the baseline, but as you know, my opponent would throw up the ball toss, I would kind of take 1 or 2 steps back, which automatically means that your upper body is kind of leaning backwards a little bit. And then it wasn't like I just couldn't hit an aggressive return. Then it was basically, oh, let me try not to miss this return and just get it into the court. When I made the switch of cutting the corners and staying really low and moving into the court, after my opponent, threw the toss up and kind of either staying in my position or taking a little split step forward, that's when I felt like I was my most aggressive and I played, my best returns. So to me, it all starts in between the ears. And I think Eala, to me, what stood out the most was, yes, she has great anticipation against Osaka last week, how well she read the serve, both first serves. Osaka has a really good second serve as well, where she can get a lot of topspin on it. She can hit the body slice serve, but she was reading her serve really well. So I think it's a combination of being aggressive, making sure that the chest is moving forward right into the court, and then also the belief and the anticipation is just so important. And I think she's reading that a lot more. And then I think I sent you the video of Sakkari as well, where Sakkari is kind of very, she's a player, right, who keeps her chest very upwards and straight up and plays tennis like that, right? Like most of the time leans even a little bit more backwards than leaning forward. So, I think it would feel really strange for a Sakkari if you're going to ask her, like, hey, can you move, like lean into the ball a little bit more? Whereas I do think it would help her game and her next shot. I just think it would feel so unnatural for her to try and adjust that and make that change now.
Did you also see the set that Marta Kostyuk played against Iga Świątek? Kostyuk ended up losing the match, but in the first set, she won 16 of 17 points on Iga's serve.
Yeah.
Which I do think so much of it is also the mental piece, right? Is once you establish the fact that you are not afraid to maybe start a step inside the baseline, that all of a sudden the server is maybe getting a little squeezy on the other side of the net.
Yeah, and also everything is a lot easier at the start of the match, right? You don't have the score influence. You don't have to, I'm one set away of beating Iga, to go through the next round. And it's, everything is a lot easier when the scoreboard is not involved. And so, Iga also is somebody who we've seen lose the first set quite often and then still, become, end up winning the match. But she's very, very locked in, Iga. And I think she has, especially in that match against Kostyuk, was able to bring more variety into her serve and just kind of create a little bit more, variation so that Marta wasn't just reading the serve well and on top of it. And because it's very frustrating and it puts a lot of pressure on your serve when your opponent is returning really well. And so that was a great effort from Iga to kind of break that routine and that rhythm from Kostyuk. So because a lot of players would not have been able to change kind of that momentum around. And so great effort by her.
How often did you practice returns where someone was just serving to you out of a basket?
Every day, every practice. Yeah, that was part of the the structure that I had built into practice. It was, and there was a variety of stands where my coaches from when I was younger would stand, right? They would have the basket on top of the service line and serve at me and serve hard, so that I had to read the serve. And in the beginning, it was I knew they were going down the tee, I knew they were going out wide, and then it would be, open, like they were free to choose. And so that became, very, very important. Every day from probably when I was, 10 years old, like the return was just another shot, like the serve and the volleys and the ground strokes, everything.
I think it's underrated oftentimes in terms of junior development. I think it's underrated because I think it's easy, even for the juniors, to think, well, it's just a ground stroke, but there's so many more pieces to the puzzle than just hitting your forehand or hitting your backhand. And so learning to just build that into every practice, I think, is huge for juniors coming up.
Especially also because all the stats that we see in the last few years, right? The first two shots, especially in women's tennis, more than a few years ago than when I was playing, but the serve and the return have gotten so important. And so the return is key. A few weeks ago, I was in Belgium with Jada. She was practicing in Antwerp, and I had a meeting upstairs in the cafeteria, and it's at where the Belgium Federation is, so where the Flemish, where the players that are part of the federation, where they train. And I saw one of the young up-and-coming players. She was practicing like a return exercise, or like a return drill, and like it was like getting on my nerves, like. Putting cones out is so important for placement, for like awareness for the brain, right? To say like, oh, this serve is, a little bit more to the middle. Let me try to get a little bit more out wide, and like learn to make adjustments yourself. And like, I'm so surprised, like when I saw it, like a couple of the coaches, like not using the cones in drills or on the return, where it's so specific, right? Where you return, how important that is. Like, I feel like from when they're 10, 11 years old, like, there needs to be cone, there needs to be targets out there so that they can learn to adjust their arm. And it's not that they have to hit the targets, but it's just this how you are taught. In tennis, that's how you make your adjustments and how you learn to feel when you're a little bit off, when you're a little bit, when you're hitting it right. Cones I've always found, or targets I've always found very, very important.
Get your cones, people. It is fun. Yes.
And competitive.
There is nothing more satisfying than I used to go out and practice serves with like half-filled water bottles.
Oh, and them exploding?
Nothing more satisfying than exploding a water bottle out on a court, like by yourself. I used to practice at a public park by our house, and I would always kind of look around and be like, and Blair. Any pedestrians happen to see that? That was pretty good.
I've won a lot of smoothies. I've won a couple of Nobu dinners, like going cross-court rallies. It was like, okay, at the end of this practice, whoever wins has to buy like sushi tonight at Nobu or whatever. So it started with smoothies, and then we kind of, had to like start putting more and more on the line. But just to keep it fun and competitive, and it makes you kind of just be locked in, like, maybe a little bit more than if it was just like, okay, let's do this for 10 minutes and that for 10 minutes. And I
mean, dude, if I thought I was going to have to pay for dinner at Nobu, I would be in the zone.
Yes, exactly.